Hey everyone, welcome back to Collecting Nolan. This is Russ, and today's another Sensational Set Sunday. And today we'll be talking about the 1988 Topps and O-Pee-Chee sets. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I just want to say I've really been enjoying putting together these Sensational Set Sunday shows because number one, it lets me talk about some Nolans, of course. Number two, it lets me kind of get into a deeper dive of these different sets. And number three, and I think one of the most important ones, is that it actually shows me where my holes in my collection are. So I enjoy putting them together just because it tells me which cards I'm missing for the most part. So, and a lot of the times the cards aren't that expensive, and so you can just say, oh, I could probably swing that. That's what I like to call low-lying fruit. So that's one of the big reasons why I like putting these shows together, and also just to talk about the different sets that Nolan Ryan is in. So with that, let's talk about 1988 and 1988 O-Pee-Chee and 1988 Topps, which they're basically the same in a lot of regards. The big difference is that the O-Pee-Chee set is a lot smaller at 396 cards in the set versus the 792 that is in the top set. But they do keep a lot of the cards are the same number, and that's true with Nolan. So this is the O-Pee-Chee. You can see in the bottom has O-Pee-Chee there, and his card's number 250 in the set. And it says O-Pee-Chee in the top there. And it should say printed in Canada over here. So those are that's the big difference with the O-Pee-Chee. Here's one of the holes in my set. So there's also a number of cards that I don't have that are O-Pee-Chee. So I don't have any of the box bottoms that are going to be in this set. There are basically 4 different box bottoms offered in the O-Pee-Chee wax bottom set. And Nolan is featured in one of those panels, and he was included in the panel with Ricky Henderson, Mike Schmidt, and Kent Tekulve. So I don't have a version of that. But in addition to that, there was also a version where there was a back to them. And I'll show this when I show the wax bottom for the Topps cards. So there was a box set that had the back to each of the cards, and then there was a box set in the O-Pee-Chees that had blank back, or just like a regular cardboard back. And that's one of the ways that you can tell the O-Pee-Chee box bottom from the Topps box bottom, is that if it's a blank back, then you know it's an O-Pee-Chee bottom. So anyway, on top of that, they also issued stickers. So this says Nolan and Bert Blyleven. Nolan is sticker number 276. And for 1988 O-Pee-Chee, there was 198 total cards and 313 total stickers. So I guess this was the card, and these are the stickers. And on the back, you have Joe Carter, and it's O-Pee-Chee. Now, with O-Pee-Chee stickers, there was another back that featured Cal Ripken Jr. instead of Joe Carter. So these guys weren't in the Topps stickers. They were only in the O-Pee-Chee stickers. So they might have been in the O-Pee-Chee stickers, but they didn't have Nolan on the front with Bert Blyleven. So there's that. So let's move on with Topps. And Topps went kind of crazy in 1988 because they made everything into baseball cards. They had coins, they had other things, they had stickers. So I'm going to start out with the cards, of course. So here's the first card. It's Nolan's record breaker, number 6. And it talks about how he fans 200 for his 11th season. Like for the 11th time in his career. There's the back there. And then they had his base card, number 250. Yep. So you can see when you're looking at the O-Pee-Chee versus this one, O-Pee-Chee in the bottom right there, and O-Pee-Chee in the bottom right, and Topps in the bottom right on the Topps card. But also too, like the backs are a little different. The O-Pee-Chee has a much more orange back than the Topps. This is the Topps. And you can see the baseballs, I think, better on the back of the O-Pee-Chee as well. So there's that difference. So that's cool. So here's another look at the Topps back. And then this is the turn back to clock card, which I think this is the actual one that I had when I was a kid. I think so anyway. So I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I remember going to a card store when I was a kid and buying the 1983 Topps card for like $10 or something. I probably overpaid for it back then, but back then that's what it was going for. And as an 8-year-old in 1989 or 1988, I guess I was 7. I probably bought it later in life. You know, I probably wasn't 7 or 8, but I was probably more like 10 or something. I'm not going to be able to talk the card shop owner down too much. So there was no wheeling and dealing when I was 10. I wasn't smart enough to do that. But I thought the coolest thing ever was this card, because I had this card as well. And I just, I remember showing my dad, like, hey, look how cool this is. Like, I have this card here and then the actual card. So I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. There's the back. So then, in addition to that, Topps also made, there was some UK cards, and there are mini cards. So here is the Topps mini UK card. These were called the Topps American Baseball cards, and there was only 88 cards in this set. I guess they're also called the UK minis, but Nolan is number 62. So, and of course, in addition to this, there is also the Tiffany version, which I also have. So exact same card, only the card stock is slightly thicker. There's going to be more of a gloss on the front of this guy, and I took it out while I was putting this show together, like gathering up my cards. I wanted to make sure that this was the Tiffany, and it's definitely more glossy than my other one. So that's the big way of telling there. But I guess another thing is that this border tends to be a little bit more creamier of a white, other than the stark white that you see in the regular Topps. But this is the Tiffany. So that's another set from the 1988 Topps, and then they also had the Topps big set, which I freaking love. This card is great. The only thing I don't like is that it's too big. Like, I don't have any card holders for I guess vintage cards would probably be about this size, like the 53 or something like that, but I don't have any holders for it, and I especially didn't have any holders when I was a kid, and this card is from when I was a kid. So I was mad because it wouldn't fit in your 9-sleeve binder holder, and it was hard to keep in good shape, but I think I did an okay job with this. There's the back. And for Topps Big, there was 264 cards in this set. Nolan's number 29, but I just love that. This one almost reminds me of how Scott Reindeer Studios does his doodles. He like outlines them in white, and he probably does that based off of how the cards were back then. Like, it seems like all the pictures were like outlined in white. So I just love how like everything plays together. So that's a cool card. So I was talking about the box bottoms. So here's the box bottom for Topps. It has a blue border on it. Nolan with his high leg kick there, which is freaking cool. And then on the back is number N. So on the back of the O-Pee-Chee, you'll have letter N, and it'll basically have the same thing. But then there's that other version that will just have a blank cardboard back. But this is the Topps. So Topps did not have a blank back, just N. So that's pretty cool. So again, four different box bombs were offered with Topps, and only one of them had a Nolan Ryan on it, and the other players, which I don't have the panel, I wish I did, which is another hole in my collection, but that panel had Ricky Henderson, Mike Schmidt, and Kent Colvey. Okay, so in addition to that, there was also these Topps coins from 1988. This one, it's definitely got some love to it. There's some rust, you know. But I think I got this when I was I don't know. I might not have gotten this when I was a kid, but pretty cool coin there. And on the back, it talks about his 276 strikeouts. So far, all of these things are on the PSA checklist from Nolan Ryan cards. So you can get this graded. And everything else that I've showed so far, you can get graded. This next thing I don't believe is on there, but it's still part of TCDB's collection. And this is called the Topps Major League. No, the Topps Gallery of Champions is what this is called. And this is basically a copy of his base cards, so number 250. But it's made of metal, like complete metal. And it's small. And you can't really see the back too well there, but I don't even think I can read. I would have a very hard time reading this with my own eyes, so there's no way the camera's going to get in there. But they offered these in basically 3 different metals in 1988. So there's this aluminum one, which I have, and then there's a bronze one, which I don't have, and then they also have a silver one. And I know this is an aluminum one because this one's really light. I would imagine if it were silver, it would be probably a heck of a lot heavier. But thought that was cool. And I don't really know a good way to store these either, because these are thicker than regular cards. Like, I'm not going to take it out, but you can see like that how thick it is. So it doesn't fit like in a top loader all too well, and it's it's got like a typography to it. So it's raised in areas and sank in others. So it's it's not flat. So it's not. I don't know if there would be. I don't know if I should use like a bigger top loader to put that thing in there or what, but it's still cool. So that's another 3 cards that Topps offered for 1988. And then on top of that, they had the Major League Leaders Minis from 1988, which was a 77 card set. And Nolan was number 50 in that. So, and then this one kind of has a similar back to the UK minis, but of course, different front. And to my knowledge, there's no Tiffany version of this card. It's just Topps. But it talks about, Nolan led the league with his 2.76 ERA, and then his 270 strikeouts in 1987 there. So that's what it's talking about there. So a cool card. Oh yeah. Before I forget, so this aluminum, there was 12 cards in this set, and Nolan, of course, was one of them. But it doesn't have them individually numbered like 1 to 12. It just keeps their like Topps card number, I think. Yeah. So this is still Topps 250 on the back there. All right. So after the cards, there are also some 1988 Topps stickers, and there's 4 variants of the same sticker with different backs, I guess. So these look similar to the 1988 O-Pee-Chee ones, with Bert Blyleven and Nolan Ryan, of course, and the number's still the same, 276. But instead of Joe Carter and Cal Ripken, they offer 4 different players on the back. This first one's Andre Dawson. The next one, same front there. But then it has Tony Gwynn. And the third one has, of course, the same front. With the Darryl Strawberry back. And then finally, the fourth one, again, same front or stickers, I guess, and then it has Tom Hankey on the back with a red background. So that's pretty cool. So those are like the regular Topps. So right now I'm just going to show the Tiffany's that come with those. So the Tiffany's only were done in, like, there's no O-Pee-Chee Tiffany's to my knowledge. So there are the Topps ones though, and for the Tiffany's, again, these were only administered in sets, and they were only available to like, you know, I think they were just, you could only buy them at like select stores. I don't remember ever seeing these in the stores, of course, but again, I was only 7, so I wasn't marching into any Hills or some other place and be like, let me see your Tiffany's. So that never happened. So I think the sets were only available from card distributors like Topps distributors, and then they were only available in sets. And then here's the back. So let's go back and show you how the stark difference between this. So okay, so this is the regular Topps, but look at that. It almost looks like a bright version of the O-Pee-Chee for the Tiffany. So that's pretty cool. So easy way to tell Tiffany card is by the stock in this year, as opposed to the 1989 Topps traded. It was harder to do. But all right, so that's the record breaker, and then here's the base card. Which mine looks slightly off-center from top to bottom, but that's okay. It's a Tiffany, and you know, it's a cool card. There's the back. So nice bright orange there versus the dull orange of the regular Topps. And then finally, to turn back the clock Tiffany. Again, with the bright back there. So, but that's it for the 1988 Topps run. I mean, Topps went crazy that year. They had coins, they had stickers, they had Tiffany's, they had UK cards. You know, so it was just offered a ton of stuff to collect, and you know, that's why I wanted to present this one, because there was just so many things on the checklist, including that little aluminum card there that they offered, and now I have to look for the bronze and the silver. So, you know, that's why I like showing these sets, because we get to talk about them, and it also shows the holes in my collection, and you know, makes everybody aware of what cards were available when. So I hope you liked the show. Let me know what you thought of the cards, and just thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks. Bye.